I'm going to pull my notes for this one because I don't want to miss anything. I got to sit down today with Tonia Maglione. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. I forgot to ask her how to pronounce her name during the chat. I was so excited. But Tonia is an attorney, an immigration rights attorney out of Charleston, South Carolina, an amazing human. She's actually from Naples, Italy, and she immigrated to the U.S. with because of her husband, who's a U.S. military member in the Navy. God bless him. I'm also a Navy man myself, retired. Tonia really intrigued me because not only did she follow her dream and try life on by coming to the US, but one of the reasons she came to the US was to pursue her dream of being an immigration rights attorney here where her family is. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people become whatever they're going to become, including attorneys, to make a ton of money. In Tonia's case, she was following her purpose. She was following her why of being able to help people. And I talk about the why all the time in terms of lifestyle design journeys. You've got to have a solid why behind what it is that you do so you can go through the very difficult journey of doing something like immigrating from one country to another when you don't even have family in that country outside of your existing spouse. So Tonia moved to the US, became an attorney, started to recognize that in-office life was causing a lot of stress on her body and on her mind. And she took the intentional step of seeking a virtual role at a different law firm. In addition, when she did move to that law firm, she had this awesome idea to have conversations with her new boss about how life was important to her and how a financial freedom journey was something that she was going to embark on, taking her nice income and shifting it towards real estate assets. And her boss was 100% in line with that, which is incredible, which is what my old boss at my consulting firm before I left the W-2 world did for me. So I know a lot of you are trying to shift from in-office to virtual life. Tonia is a great example. She is a great example of someone who did not want to be stuck unprofessionally. She unconsciously created her path because her mind was open to the art of the possible the entire time in terms of being an immigration rights attorney, in terms of moving to the US, now in terms of buying real estate and recognizing that real estate is purposeful. She's going to buy real estate for financial freedom purposes, but she's also going to buy real estate back in Italy such that her and her husband can focus on a potential lifestyle back home when he retires. And I love the fact that she called the United States the land of opportunity. It truly is personally and professionally, but she's also very enamored of her home of Italy, just as I'm enamored of the rest of the world because the world has a lot to offer. Tonia has a lot to offer. So I'm very grateful she came on the podcast. I think you'll find it very informative for you. The biggest thing is we all need examples. We all need example of people who jumped, who just did it and course corrected along the way. She is a rock star example, and I am very, very happy that I got a chance to sit down with Tonia. I hope that you think it is helpful for your journey as well. Appreciate you listening to the episode. If you have any feedback, send me a message at Maurice@trylifeon.com, and I will talk with you then. But for now, have a great time listening to my conversation with Tonia. Tonia.
Hello there.
Hi. How are
Hi.
you?
Yeah, how are you?
I don't think I've been this excited to speak to somebody that I don't know in a long time. Where are you?
I am in Charleston, South Carolina.
You're in Charleston, South Carolina, but
Yeah,
you're from somewhere in Italy.
I am. I am from Naples.
You
Born and
are.
raised. Yes, yes, south of Italy. Born and raised. Moved to the United States only 7 years ago.
Just 7 years ago. Well,
Yes.
it's home now, but welcome. I mean, 7 years, but welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You know what intrigued me about, thank you for sending me that message. What
Of course.
intrigued me about that was your mindset to shifting, I guess your mindset from shifting to in place, obviously you're an attorney, but in place attorney work to virtual work. So you could, which I'm sure is fulfilling, but you can also focus on entrepreneurial stuff from time to time. And that's where I wanted to, that's what intrigued me because a majority of the people that I talk to, whether it's in coaching or through the LinkedIn platform or what have you, they all want to do the same thing. But the number one thing that's stopping people is their mindset about it, or giving up the accolades that they earned or whatever. So this is I'm trying something new on the podcast. This is kind of what the podcast gets into, which is, what is the mindset, the tricks, the tips, the challenges that people go through to try life on their way and get away from, in a way, get away from whatever societal expectations or career expectations you have, just so that you can live your way. And then, of course, to boot, you're from Italy. So I thought that was super intriguing. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Maurice. Yeah, you said it right. I mean, taking the opposite direction, right? Of
Yeah.
what society push you to work to. And for me, it was an escalation. Coming to the United States for me was putting myself in a position where I say, wow, I can really do and achieve everything. I went through a lot before becoming an attorney, and that path as an immigrant myself, right? Because I came here as an immigrant. I think I didn't even have the green card yet. I was sponsored by my husband, who's an active duty. But coming from that path and dealing with, okay, what am I going to do? The challenge, right? Continuous challenge. Just open up my mind to realize that if you want, you can achieve everything. Everything. Yes. It's a mindset, as you mentioned. Once you have it, don't let it go, because the moment that you let it go, you pause, and that pause can last a long time. I give you an example.
Please.
Yeah, with you.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. So, I contacted you via LinkedIn and I say, oh, Maurice, I sent you that detailed message.
Yeah, it was great.
Brief but detailed, right?
Yeah.
And then you mentioned, oh, that's great. Let's connect. Let's make it happen, right? And then, poof, Tonia disappeared. I didn't schedule the meeting with you right there and there, right? And that's why, because my mind paused. I was in a short period of time where I let it go, and I admitted that. I was, adjusting to the new schedule, to this, new position as an attorney remotely. I was trying to figure out, okay, what can I do? What am I doing to pursue what I want to pursue, right? But then I paused. But then I saw the spreadsheet, which I printed from one of the posts that you put on LinkedIn.
A spreadsheet.
I created a spreadsheet, but I literally like copy and paste what you posted on LinkedIn, where you mentioned give yourself a why. Right. So I printed it, I created another one, I assembled it with other information, and I put on my fridge where me and my husband sit every day. So after that, I didn't get back to you. I was walking, in the kitchen, so that I didn't stop. And then I said, wait a second, I didn't get back to my list. This is my purpose.
Yeah.
Right. And there you go, and say, okay, am I still in time to schedule?
But that's what happens sometimes. A lot of people talk about, listen, as soon as you have an inkling of something that can move your life forward, you don't wait. You act on it immediately. And wherever it goes, it goes. But this is one of the premises that I've talked about quite a bit, posting on social media, is you just do it and you course correct along the way. You don't overthink it. You just get after it. You see what the universe provides you or what have you. It sounds like that's what you did from the attorney perspective. And so thank you for that. But it sounds like that's what you did for the attorney perspective. But so I was digging into your post a little bit. Were you an attorney in Italy? You were studying to be an attorney in Italy, and then you realized that to get your license in the US, you had to study in the US? Did I read that right?
Correct. Yes, that is correct. So I was in the middle of finishing my master's degree in law in Italy, of course, in Italian law, which is a civil country, right? And
sure.
When I moved to the United States, as I mentioned briefly a few minutes ago, I was not a green card holder yet. I didn't have the green card yet. I was in the process of achieving it.
Okay.
So anyways, long story short, I was flying back and forth from Italy to finish my degree. I graduated, and okay, all of a sudden, I was a green card holder. The green card
Nice.
came. I said, okay, wow, I can be an attorney here. Let me see if I can do that. But wait a second,
Yeah.
I come from a civil country, educational system. I don't think I have access to the judicial system here. I cannot practice law in the United States. And of course, you cannot.
Mm-hmm.
So all of a sudden, I realized that notwithstanding the fact, I could, of course, speak English properly, and I was able, of course, to manage conversation and so on. But I realized that I was stuck professionally, and I said, "Wow, what am I going to do now?"
Mm-hmm.
Didn't have a driver license yet. Didn't have a social security number yet. You can possibly major. I was exposed to the American culture in Italy for several years, but it's different when you move to that country and you start from zero
From
almost.
zero.
Yeah,
Was
professionally, especially.
was that nerve-wracking? Was it difficult? Did
It
you,
was, it
yeah,
was
no family
extremely.
in the US other than your
No,
husband at
not
the
at
time?
all, not at all. And my husband, he was, in a special operation unit, so he was never home.
He wasn't home.
It
Yeah.
was just, yeah, it was just me and little puppy that I just adopted. I had to, Maurice.
But you did it, and so obviously I talk about lifestyle design quite a bit, and I have a lot of friends who are migrating the other way, from the US to, let's see, I'm going to name countries, from the US to Lebanon, Cyprus, Portugal, Netherlands, Spain, but specifically the Canary Islands. People are looking for a little bit of a different lifestyle, but it sounds like you did it, well, maybe because you wanted the professional career. One, obviously your husband is from, I assume he's American if he's in the US military.
Correct.
Two, but were you also looking for a different kind of, or were you looking forward to a different kind of lifestyle, or was that something that was making you a little bit nervous, coming from Italy to the States?
Well, I think nothing was planned in my
Oh,
case.
okay, okay.
Nothing was planned. All I did is, follow my husband because he was on active duty. He was stationed in Italy. We met there. We got married there. So at some point it was like I gotta
Oh,
follow my husband,
yep,
and
yep.
but nothing was, projected
I
for
love
me.
that.
Nothing was a plan professionally. But I've always been that kind of person that focus on career path and want to make it
Mm-hmm.
happen, right? I always had a lot of it, Maurice. So what happened though, and consciously,
Mm-hmm.
I just created my path, and I explain you why. When I realized that I was unable to practice law in the United States, I immediately opened up my mind to, okay, what am I going to do? Okay, I got to go back to school, right? And I found, the perfect program that it was suitable for me, which was a master's degree in law, in American law.
Yeah.
And whoa, as soon as I saw the price, and I said, I'm used to not to pay that much
Welcome
college
to
in
the
Italy.
American college school system where
Right,
it's
right.
crazy.
Exactly, but I didn't stop there. I say, no, there must be a way. I did some research, months of research, scholarship on. I was a green card holder, so having access to different scholarship, I started to apply for them. Then I stopped for a second. So wait a second, my husband is an active duty,
Yep.
GI Bill.
Yep. Oh, you used the GI Bill, son of a
I
gun.
used the GI Bill, and
Yeah.
I was also granted a very large scholarship from the school that I applied to.
Yep.
They saw my resume and my
Yep.
application. They were impressed. I negotiated because I did research on that too.
Yep.
You can negotiate it. So I
Yep.
started, that kind of financial mindset in my mind. I say, no, I'm not gonna get a debt to become an attorney
That's
because
awesome.
that's how I grew up. I never grew up, getting a debt that much to go to school. It doesn't matter if it's upper level university or
Mm-hmm.
not. So I gave all myself during that
I love
program,
it. I
Maurice.
love
I
it.
love it because I had the purpose. And my
Yes.
purpose was, when I started it, it was to become an immigration attorney. Why? Because I came from that path. My husband's family came from that path. And I felt so connected
Wow.
that everything came together at the end,
I,
right?
I talk about that a lot. Whether it's a lifestyle journey, financial freedom journey, or even your professional career journey, that if you don't know your why and you hit challenges, it's going to be very easy to turn back because it's not enough to keep motivating you forward. It sounds like you had an incredible why. So you are now, so I think, yeah, you're an immigration rights attorney. Are you practicing just in the US now?
Correct. Yes.
You're practicing in the US. Um, what was it like? So the thing that attracted me to you as a person, and I just started researching as much as I could find on you, was a lot of people would become an attorney in the US and try to use that career to get to the top of some firm or as much money as possible or what have you. I don't know how much money is in immigration attorney work, but it sounds like that because you have that passion to help people, that's the driver. Where you mentioned working in an office and then making a decision to try and see if you could steer remote. And I just wanted to understand, how was it working in an office? And then what was the mindset to say, look, I want my lifestyle or work to be a little bit different so I could focus on another aspect of life as well, evenly, not giving up any quality of your work, but evenly.
Right. So when I start working at an office, I was getting drained. I was starting getting drained. I
Yeah,
was saying,
I know that feeling.
this is crazy. So this is not life. I mean, and again, being born and raised in another country and have that
Hmm.
lifestyle where you pause in the middle of the day and you're gonna get, espresso.
Yes.
You enjoy the chat with a colleague,
Oh man.
friend, those 5 minutes,
Yeah.
every 2, 3 hours.
Yeah.
Those are crucial. So coming to this environment where you are boom, boom, back to back, back to back, back to back, which, don't get me wrong, I'm used to it. I'm
Hmm.
used to it because, again, I went through so much to become an attorney that um, I love challenges. I take on challenges, and if there is any problem, I solve it. It is a mindset, right, that I have. But that combined with a schedule and being an attorney, especially immigration attorney, that is emotional
Hmm.
training,
Hmm.
it just made me stop for a second. In combination with the fact that me and my husband, have the same mindset now about financial freedom.
Right.
And that's awesome. It is beautiful when both, when you married with a person that has your same mindset and want to
Uh,
pursue the same exactly
Same
goal.
thing. I think it's super critical.
Yeah.
And just to call something out, so I have traveled quite a bit. I don't want to say traveled. I have immersed in different cultures quite a bit. So I know what you're talking about. Having little mini breaks during the day, having an espresso with a colleague, or going to see your husband or your wife, and it's a normal part of culture. I remember when I was doing consulting work in for a management consulting firm, but in Portugal, and we worked from, let's say, 9 a.m. First of all, they don't go to work early. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But we would work from like 9:30 to 12, and then lunch would be 3 hours. You would just hit it for lunch, and then you go back to work at 3:30, and then you would work probably till like 9, and then you'd get a bite to eat together for dinner, and then you would go home. And I loved it. I remember that feeling. So when you said about the espresso, it's like, yes, I think that's one of the not faults of US culture, but we, as you said, we just run all the time. It's almost like we live to work and we don't work to live. That's why I'm so drawn to European culture. I like working. I work my butt off, but I don't want it to be my entire life. I want meaningful connections with amazing human like yourself, right? During the day, what have you. So if you did recognize that and you did feel that, what was the shift for you that said, okay, I'm gonna make a slight change?
The the combination of a lot of things that hit me hard. Not only physically, because I say, as I mentioned, I was drained, but emotionally, psychologically, I was like, where do I see myself in the near future, in a long run?
Mm-hmm.
Not only myself, but also my family. I have a 3 years old, and my
Wow.
husband is gonna retire soon,
Mm-hmm.
and we have a specific mindset. And I say, I cannot be, I cannot have a clear mind and focus on what we're gonna do next if I'm so drained at work and I come back so stressed out at home.
Right.
I have to
Right.
change that, but try to do it strategically, meaning that try to increase most likely my income, because
Mm-hmm.
now I have a little bit more, experience under my belt as an attorney, but created that, lifestyle balance that allows me to focus on what I need to do next
Right.
and manage those finance, increasing them, right? And focus on what I'm going to do next for my plan, from our real estate plan. And
Mm-hmm.
that's when I reach out, as I did with you on LinkedIn.
Yep.
I literally was, in court with my boss, today boss, and it happened, that she's also a military spouse. I
Yeah.
just reach out to her on LinkedIn and I say, oh, nice meeting you. I heard that you're a military spouse. Can we connect just, to chat? But then from then, everything started. She was interested in me. I was interested in her, and say, hey, I have a position. Let's do an interview.
Oh,
And
sorry,
yeah,
I missed something. You reached out to your now boss. You reached
my
out to your
now
now
boss,
boss
my
who
now
was
boss.
in a different law firm. First of all, let me call out the fact that you said that you and your husband had talked about the fact that you wanted to go after financial freedom in a unique way. You chose potential real estate, but my assumption is you're like, look, if I'm going to do real estate on the side, then I also need, and I can already tell just by your passion for it. It's not that you're giving up the quality of your immigration attorney work. It's just that you want to prepare for what's down the road. I think that's the distinction. Sometimes people are afraid to tell their employer, "Hey, I'm also going to do this," but here, uh, people will assume that the employer, and sometimes the employer does take it against you. Like, well, if you're focused on that, you're not focused on my side. But was it that your new boss now was thinking about the real estate space too, or has a firm that runs in a virtual sense? Like, how did that all come together? Because people are looking for a way to approach their potential new boss or their existing boss.
Here's the beauty of my experience, Maurice, and I still cannot believe it. My boss actually, when I was doing the training, asked me to write down my short and long term financial and personal goal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I was very, clear about that. My professional goal, it was to support her as much as I can and become a better attorney, immigration attorney, because it's my passion. I want to do it, and I do it with passion. I put everything that I have with that. My financial goal, I stated right away, buy asset, and those assets by themselves. And she knows
Awesome.
that. And
Awesome.
we talk about that every time that we have a review.
Awesome.
And that's the beauty. Having an employer or a boss that understands that as your same mindset, it's a
Yes.
game changer. Because you feel like comfortable to touch some topics and discuss
Mm-hmm.
them, develop them, perhaps even ask for mentorship on that if you can.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But regardless, let's say, assuming that my boss was not like that, right? I will still pursue that goal, you know, purposefully maintaining my professional career and develop it as much as I can with all the passion and love that I can put it in, because that's me, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not, I would never change that. Because
Mm-hmm.
can you think about how miserable you will be being an immigration attorney, especially when you change another person's life? Imagine not putting that purpose, that love, that passion in it. You just,
It's not possible.
it's
I
not
don't
possible.
think people
No,
just do it to do it.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So regardless of that, let's say that again, assuming that my boss was not willing to open up that way,
Mm-hmm.
I would still have been pursuing that purpose of financial freedom, which is
one way or the other, it would have shown up one way
Yes,
or the other.
because my goal it was that one, even previously, to shift, to a remote job where I could possibly increase even my income compared to the previous job, which I didn't
Yeah.
because I sold myself. I mean, I have a lot of skills, right? And
Yep.
I was honest and I negotiated, and it was just the way that you have to do it. I
Do
mean,
you in the immigration space, if you're going from your old job to your new job, do you give up upward mobility by doing that?
no, not really. I
Not
mean,
really. Okay.
no,
Okay.
no.
Yeah.
I actually reduce the stress because I was driving every day. And
Mm-hmm.
Charleston is a small town. It's beautiful. Don't get me wrong,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a
Mm-hmm.
small
It's
town.
small town.
Traffic,
Yeah. I've been there. Yeah.
traffic, yeah, gets a little bit out of control, especially during the specific hours. So I just decrease the stress. I go to the gym every day
Very
as
good.
I used to, but I have less stress on my body and my mind. I have
Wow.
a perfect um, life balance. I listen to your podcast while I'm on a treadmill, which I did it this morning.
Ah, I love that. Thank you.
Oh, I do, I do.
Yeah,
And so it's perfect for now.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, okay, financial freedom. So, well, just to wrap up on the employment side, I love the fact that you made a conscious shift. I just want to call out a few things. I do coach people in this space, and there's things that you said immediately that I try to get other people to do, which is you thought very strategically about shifting from one career to another, not necessarily to what you probably will make more money, which is funny to me, not necessarily for money aspects, but for flexibility so you can focus on other aspects of life. The second thing that I heard you say that I love is that you had robust discussions with your partner, with your husband, and that you guys are on the same page. Because if you are coupled, and if it's a healthy couple, having different goals, it's going to be very hard. It's going to be very hard to accomplish that, right? Because you guys are a unit, especially when it's a military family. I know that very, very well. And then now you have this focus on financial freedom because you're thinking about later. What are you doing for financial freedom? How has it been? What asset class are you focusing on? What's the plan? Maybe that'll give some folks some ideas on how they can get started on their journey. But what are you doing, and how did you even get the motivation to do it? Was it a book? Was it a podcast? What was it that sparked you?
So everything started because my husband
Mm-hmm.
put to a lot of different perspective and our incomes and the money coming out and going out and coming in, especially me becoming an attorney and having to paycheck.
Yep.
We're seeing a lot of improvement, but what is the key, Maurice?
Yep.
We never changed our lifestyle. The fact that we added extremely increased amount of money coming in. I'm not going pursuing a new car.
Yes.
It really does.
Yep.
Or getting the biggest house in the neighborhood. No,
Yep.
our lifestyle never ever changed, but not because we have that temptation of the money and we don't go behind it. Is because of a mindset,
Yep.
a way to be. We were like that before. We maintain it. I don't need it. I don't feel the need
I
of
love it.
going after the last, what is it, the last version of the iPhone or a Porsche or whatever. No,
Mm-hmm.
I can, I could, but I don't want it right now because our goal is what, and I'm going to connect to the asset,
Mm-hmm.
is to create assets, which we have the chance to do it in Texas, where his family's from, and
Okay.
there are some lots available empty, and actually one already with the house builder that his dad literally built it himself.
Yep.
So we want to create something within the family, basically buying from his dad, give him his money, and his dad is going to create the second access on the other lot that is empty. And then from there, move on to the other one. And then from there, expanding somewhere else. But the other goal also is Italy. Italy, of course,
Oh,
I to buy there.
you're gonna make me cry.
There's no way that I won't buy in Italy. And
Of course.
and my goal is to buy cash there. I mean, right there. There are no loans, nothing like that.
In Naples, do you want to do in Naples? Do you want to go somewhere else in Italy to buy real estate?
I would love to go and buy Naples, and the reasons why is because all my family's there. So
Everybody's
let's
there.
say, yeah. So let's say because we bought the house where we are right now in Charleston,
Yeah,
which is, of course, of course we're gonna buy
of
it.
course, of
Yeah.
course. That's the next
Uh,
rental property at some
yeah,
point in the future. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So having family in Naples where you have already, a network of people,
Hmm.
not just a family, but even friends, people that you may know, it's crucial. And I reconnect to one of the podcasts, one of your podcasts where you mention it. I mean, try to focus on the area where you can manage it, right?
Yes, where you
Yeah,
can build up a network. Yeah, where it
exactly.
makes
And you can
sense.
manage easily. Yeah, right.
Yep.
So for me, it would be, I mean, not only like because I would love to retire there
Yeah.
sooner, right?
Yeah.
But also because there you go, my connection is there. And then it's Italy. Come on.
It's Italy, and I don't know how much longer your husband has until he retires, but when I was in the military, he's active duty. I was primarily a reservist, but I did 10 years of active duty time, so I was very busy. But I retired in 2019, and the way that I thought about my military time was, oh, real estate's going to give me passive income. I got that covered. I was a police officer for 15 years. I retired early out of that. And I'm like, oh, that's another small, like I got a very small pension from the police because I was there that long. But I was like, oh, that's another maybe $1,000 or $2,000 of passive income. And then I have my two pensions from the military. And I was like, that's more passive income. You have your husband, his career, his awesome career. You have the thought process that you're going through now with real estate as passive income. I don't think that people think comprehensively about sources of passive income and what it can do for your life. The funny thing is, I'm a part-time actor, although I don't do it all the time, but I just got my first residual checks from an HBO series that I was on. I'm like, oh, more passive income.
Yeah, yeah.
I loved it. But in all seriousness, the thing that you said that I want to call out for people is real estate is goal specific. You can, and feel free to ask me any real estate questions if you'd like to. I've done a lot of it. Not only can you approach it from, I'm going to buy the real estate for passive income purposes, but I'm going to buy the real estate for lifestyle purposes. So I've been buying real estate or developing and buying real estate in Cyprus. I didn't do that because I can't make money with real estate in the US. I did that because I wanted to be in a European, well, it's European, but it's kind of not European. I wanted to be in a European community where it's a radically different environment than the 45 years of East Coast living in New York, Boston, and DC that I've done my entire life. So when my little one is totally done with school, I might move to Cyprus full time. I'm probably going to track you down in Italy to see if you can help me buy something in Italy. I love the fact that it's a purposeful thing and people don't look at it that way. But it sounds like you're also looking at it that way because maybe you and your husband will want to retire back home closer to family when the time comes.
Yes, yes. No, definitely. You need to have a purpose. If you do not have a purpose, it doesn't matter. I mean, what do you do
Right.
for financial freedom? Because if you do not have a purpose, it becomes so hard to achieve, right? And
Wow.
difficult with a lot of challenges. You cannot do it. At some point, you're gonna get so drained and tired of it that you say, okay, I do not have the financial resources. I do not have the tools to do
Mm-hmm.
that. But if you open up your mind to a different perspective and you see yourself, down the road to say, what am I seeing myself? As you mentioned, right? Where do you see yourself with your son in Cyprus, most likely, right?
Right.
And that is, you gotta find the purpose, follow the purpose, and not look behind it. Do not look behind. It's hard. Remember that when I didn't contact you right away?
Yeah.
I remember
Right.
that.
Right. I do remember
That.
that.
But I overcame it, right?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
pushed myself toward what I want,
It
which is
truly is a
again,
mindset thing. It truly is a mindset thing. And just do it and course correct along the way or just reach out. You never know what you're going to get. I tell people Yeah, when I was in consulting, if the only people that I talked to were consulting people, then I would just do consulting. But if you want to do real estate, then you get to you reach out to a guy like Maurice, who's done 200 million of it in the last 3 years, and you get information right from the source and you just get going. If I wanted to go into the immigration, or if I had an immigration question or wanted to go into the immigration space, I would literally just reach out and be like, how can I help you? By the way, can you answer these 2 questions for me? We are in such a person-to-person economy now. I do go about the hassle of reaching out to very interesting people over social media and seeing if they'll respond, because that's just the way of the world now. Why not? And there's no reason to be shy about it whatsoever.
No, not at all. Connection is key. Connection, with the right people is key.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter if it's for a professional purpose, if it's for a personal purpose. You need to connect with that person that you think is the right person. If it's not, it's fine. You
And it's
create
okay.
another, yeah, just move on.
That's okay.
But
Yeah.
it's beautiful. And nowadays, as you mentioned, you didn't have anything. I mean, you didn't have any tool beside of, the library where you can, read
Yeah.
books
You know my
and
story.
educate
Thank you.
yourself. Today is so different, right?
Yeah,
Today,
yeah. Totally different.
yeah. So, um, one thing again that I learned since I moved to the United States is that this is
Mm-hmm.
the land of the opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
Not only professionally, only personally. You can achieve your dream if you work hard, because nothing is giving, right?
Yeah, for
Free.
sure.
But if you work hard, you can achieve great things. You can do great things even for other people.
Wow.
And if you have a purpose, it's even better.
It's even better if you have a purpose. How are you studying or getting your information? Obviously, real estate's a bit new. You studied immigration law, and then you made the decision to go towards financial freedom. Did your husband have the knowledge? Are you studying from books? Are you just watching people who do it? Like, where are you getting information, and also how are you applying it to getting your first? I don't know if you've started, but getting your first deal, or people struggle. I guess what I'm saying is there is so much information out there now, so much. That's why if you've I don't know if you've noticed, but I always post the same 5 books. I just refuse to go chase everything that runs around. Actually, I'm adding a 6th book finally, which is interesting. It really got to me. But where are you getting your information, and how are you applying it?
So it's a combination of all of those that you just mentioned.
Okay.
And I tell you why. So your podcast, of course.
Yes, I love that. Thank you.
Yeah, no, definitely, yeah. Books for sure, but also the combination of the two minds, mine and my husband. And
And
I'll
your
tell you
husband.
why. My husband just stopped, basically asked for permission to work to go to a 1 week financial program
Mm,
offered by
mm-hmm,
the Navy,
mm-hmm,
because he's
mm-hmm,
a Navy.
mm-hmm,
And he was so into it. He was waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning and coming back at 6 p.m. every day to be in
mm-hmm.
that class on time every day, coming back home and reporting to me everything that he was learning.
That's right.
And he involved me to the point that, our little one was going to sleep, coming here in my office upstairs and making things, making happen, meaning that, okay, let's see, where are we, our assets, where are we financially, where are we?
Yeah.
Are we, in a good path where we can pursue this financial freedom? Or, we are again spending more money that they're coming in. So the first thing that we done recently, but we started way before, but literally this past week, is assessing where are we, then we can project right there and there, but soon, within a year,
Mm-hmm,
where can we start with this money that we have available,
mm-hmm.
since we have this, for example, these lots that I was talking about, these lots available in the family, and
Yeah.
then projected those money, those incomes, how can we move, the money that comes through my job
Mm-hmm.
toward what we need to address right now, or soon, in a short term. So the first thing is recognize, Maurice, where are you? Where are you with your financials? I
Yep.
think that's, be self-conscious of what you spend. How many times do you go to a restaurant? Come on.
Yeah.
So make that assessment. This is one thing that you know, I'm not an expert. My husband is not an expert. We kind of like started, right? But the mindset was already there. Right now, we are pushing hard toward that mindset and make it happen. And if you want to make it happen, one, you know, humble advice that I can give to anybody out there is assess your finance and see what is wrong. And you can do it yourself. Look for, you know, any free courses that you can do to your nearest community center, because there are, especially the military community is full of it. But regardless, you can find some free one, you know, offered somehow, somewhere.
Yep.
You know, as I found in my scholarship, you can find it. There's so many resources.
It's out there. It's
Yeah.
out there. Yeah. Or
You
find
can,
someone who's already done it and
there
lean
you go.
lean on that
And
person
lean on
too.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think there is a way. There is a way, so make it happen. About, you know, education is a continued education. You gotta continue, you know, to expose yourself with that mindset and pursue that mindset,
For
right?
sure.
Maintaining it. And how you maintaining it, not just reading the right books as the one that you recommended, but also there you go, podcasts. But you know, legit podcasts, because as you mentioned, there's a lot.
There's a lot out there.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
Yeah, and I like, you know, the concept that you bring up and say real estate is just one of the ways that you can, you know, go toward and, you know, and realize and make it happen.
Yeah.
And pursue that financial freedom. But you can use it any other way, like, you know, your personal business. Yeah. You can be a CEO of a small business or whatever. You can make it happen in some other way.
You can make it happen in some other way, and I'll throw two things out there. One, I know a lot of business owners, and probably 90% of those business owners, when they, whatever business they're in, whether it's franchises, sandwich shops, coffee shops, clubs, whatever, 90% of them are taking a portion of their profits and investing in real estate. At least 90% from my perspective. And they are doing it for the same reason that you and I, from our W-2 jobs, from our regular careers, are investing money in real estate. And that's because at some point in the future, the career, you're either not going to want to do it, physically not be able to do it, or the career will tell you, listen, thank you for your service, but we can pay that 30-year-old half of what we are currently paying you today, and they push you out. When I left corporate at 46, I wasn't stunned, but I was a little bit, my ego was bruised and hurt a little bit, because after 25 years, on October 31st, 2021, I retired. Okay. But I would think, given I was there 25 years, the institutional knowledge that I had, all the contacts, all the clients that were friends and loved me because I did good things for them, I would think that they would struggle a little bit. No, not even close. By November 2nd, 2 days later, I could feel that I wasn't needed anymore. It's a jarring thing, but I knew that over the past 25 years, I had gotten myself up to 2,000 units of real estate, and forget the 2,000. That doesn't even matter. The first 10 mattered. The first 10 that I did mattered. And I'd even say the first one that mattered. So when you do your first one, I want you to think about the following. For anyone who's going to do real estate, think about the following. Don't worry about the numbers so much. As long as you don't lose money and you make a little bit of profit, I wouldn't even worry about the numbers so much, because there is this thing about momentum that matters. There's this thing about gaining knowledge from the deal that matters. And I'm helping someone buy a property right now in Barcelona. She's Spanish, but she lives in a different country, but she's buying a property in Barcelona. She has $100,000, and she said, I want to buy these two properties. And where we got to was, let's not buy the two, let's just buy one. And let's put way more money down than is necessary. And the reason we decided on that was so she didn't have any stress level related to if the place wasn't rented at some point. But the knowledge she's going to gain, the lack of stress, the heavy cash flow because she put probably too much money down, it doesn't matter. She has more momentum than someone who's going to heavily focus on numbers as the only attribute that matters for the deal, right? So get to that first deal and do it. But it's such a beautiful thing when we can take our active income and translate it into something that will pay us forever. And I'm seeing it in business owners, employees, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs. Everyone is buying hard assets, and rightfully so. At least they're trying anyway.
Yeah, no, thank you, Maurice, for this suggestion. I really appreciate that because
Yeah,
you need to know where you're going, at least at first from someone that saw that all.
I've seen a bit.
You probably, and it's crucial for everybody that is just starting or has that passion, that energy to go down and pursue it.
That's it.
That's the main thing. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, but definitely, yeah, you need that. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. And find someone who's done it. So you now have me in your network. You can reach out anytime. You will have my cell phone number. You can reach out anytime for any reason. Don't care what it is. I love this stuff. And then I will call you when I'm buying a property in Italy
Let's make it happen.
for help as much as possible, because I am a sucker for European environments. I am in love with the Mediterranean Sea. I'm in love with Mediterranean food. I'm in love with Italian people, Spanish people, Portuguese people, Cypriot people, Lebanese people, Turkish people. I am such a citizen of the world that I love the US. I'm so grateful. But what I've come to understand about myself is I've lived 90% of my life in this country, and I just want to experience something else full time before I punch off the planet, So I know, even though I've traveled to 100 countries, I know I'm headed that way full time. It's just a matter of time. So whenever anyone comes on the podcast, I ask in wrap up one question, and here it is. There are people out there, there are Tonias out there, Maurice's out there, who want to try life on. They want to jump from in-office life to virtual life. They want to take a risk and take their hard-earned money and buy assets. They want to go from corporate to being an artist, or from being an artist to go into corporate, but they're just nervous and they're scared and they don't know how to jump or can't figure out the timing to do it. Given where you are on your journey, going from in office to virtual to focusing on real estate to focusing on your retirement with your awesome husband, what would be one piece of advice you would give people to suggest that they try life on? What would help them?
Just do it. Just do it.
I love it.
Because if you do not do it, you will regret it. And you don't lose anything if you try it. What do you lose? Nothing.
Nothing.
At all. So do it. Put on aside that fear and make it happen. It doesn't matter what it is, make it happen. Again, I reconnect. You are in the land of the opportunity, not just economically, but professionally and personally. So make it happen. There's no excuse. I do not believe in excuse, Maurice. I do not.
No,
You're
it's
in
on
control.
us.
The only obstacle, yes, it is yourself.
That's it.
And everything that you want to do. I mean,
That's
look
it.
at me. Look at me. I mean,
yeah, that's why I knew right away. Like, as soon as you sent me that note, I knew right away that you are somebody who just jumps on stuff, and people need to hear that. And that's why I love that you came on and that I was smart enough to ask you to come. I don't think that people don't know what to do. I think that inherently sometimes they need an excuse to do it.
Yes.
Because 100% of my coaching students had the skills to go revamp their lives the way that they want, whether it was leveraging real estate or virtual work or travel hacking, whatever it is, but they were just looking for an excuse to do it because neighbors, peers, coworkers, friends are telling them all to be status quo. But when they hear from someone like a Tonia, then they're like, if she can come to this country and help people with their journey to this country through immigration law, but recognize that she wants to do something for her own family, then I can. And that's why I'm so grateful you came on the show. So thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you, Maurice, for having me. I really appreciate that.
It is my pleasure. It is my pleasure. Talk to you soon.
All right. Take care.
Hey guys, this is Maurice, host of the Try Life On podcast, and thank you for listening to another episode. I hope you are finding it useful in helping you design your own lifestyle that you don't need a vacation from. If that's the case, please consider dropping a review for me, whether in Apple, iTunes, or in Spotify. drop a review, put some stars on it, give me some feedback on how I can make the podcast better, what information you are looking for. I am doing my best to get information to you on the Try Life On principles, the 5 freedoms, how to build lifestyle, travel hacking, all of it. And I want to do it for you. So please do a review for me. And until next time, my name is Maurice Philogene, and this is the Try Life On podcast. Peace.